Hi guys, it's Kelly Latevola here, and I'm back with another video for Neat and Tangled. Today we're going to be using the Polygon stencil and the So Lucky stamp set. So my approach to this card was I really wanted to use the So Lucky stamp set. I think that it's so fun to have like big bold greetings that can really carry a card and don't require a lot of work for you. And this one does come with shamrocks in it, but you can use it for so much more than just St. Patrick's Day. And then my other point of doing this was kind of challenging myself to use pastel colors. I struggle with that in my Copic coloring, but I knew that I could do it with my distress inks. So I went through my collection, pulled out some ones. I pulled out Worn Lipstick, Shaded Lilac, Salty Ocean, and Cracked Pistachio. And then as I'm putting them down, I'm just kind of doing it in quadrants over the stencil. And I was just careful about which ones went next to each other. I wanted to make sure the pink and the green were kind of catty-cornered from each other because they don't necessarily mix all too pretty. So my stencil does have Tombow Mono multi-glue on the back, which allows it to be repositionable. That's why it's not really moving. So you may need to use some repositional adhesive or tape yours down. I knew I wanted there to be lots of layers of texture in the background, and so that's why I'm working on Canson watercolor paper, and so I used the distress inks traditionally, and now I'm just going to go ahead and add water. I was flicking it on there like kind of gingerly to begin with, and then I was like, you're not going to get any movement, chica, you're going to have to just commit. And then I wasn't getting a lot of great control, just kind of dumping it on, so then I just put it in the palm of my hand. Like, just use whatever tools are on, that you got. It's fine. I just knew that I wanted to kind of break up that pattern a little bit. I wanted some hard lines and some soft lines. In some of the areas there was quite a bit of water, which almost completely washed out the design, which was fine. So after I dried that down, then I didn't have, I guess, like I said, the control. So then I just went back in with kind of the nozzle and drew in some areas. I felt like, I told you I struggle with pastel colors, I'm being honest here folks, and so I felt like it was a little too pastel, and so I wanted to just add a little bit of bolder color. So I'm just using an acrylic block, I'm smushing the distress inks on one side, spraying it, and then just kind of dripping it on. With this, I didn't get a lot of variation in the size of my droplets. In order to get smaller droplets, I could have picked up a paintbrush and like flicked it off the side. I guess I just didn't even think about it at the moment. That would have worked, but it's okay. I still like the way that it came out. So I just did that with kind of all of the colors. I kind of kept them in their each quadrant, and maybe like a little over to the left or a little up above, just so that there was some bolder color. And then I'm going to go ahead and dry down those as well. I didn't want big blobs of color in the background, and that's kind of what I ended up with. So after those were dry, I went in one more time just with the very kind of light flicking to just kind of break up those big blobs of color, because those drops were all pretty much the same size. So just keep working with your background until you're happy with it. Most of the time your watercolor paper is going to be able to take it, and it's not going to be a big deal. I did get some slight warping because I had so much water on the paper, so I opted to use my Misty to stamp down my sentiment. Another reason I opted to use my Misty is because this is the first time I've stamped this stamp in black ink, and I didn't do anything to prepare it. So I knew I was probably going to have to stamp it at least twice, especially on the watercolor paper because it has that texture. So if you don't have Misty, it's a good tool to have. Of course, there has to be shine on all of the things because otherwise I just would not be a happy girl. So I'm using the clear mix sequins from Neat and Tangled to just kind of accent that sentiment and add a little bit of bling. I'm going to go ahead and I cut the card or the watercolor panel down to just slightly smaller than my card front, and I'm going to adhere it with some foam, white fun foam. And the reason I am is because it's going to help again with that little bit of warping because I didn't tape down my paper. So this should basically eliminate any like popped up corners or anything like that. I'm adhering it just to a lavender card base. I thought it matched the Shaded Lilac really nicely, and I tend to shy away from purple since I'm kind of trying to challenge myself. I thought that would be a good idea. It looked just like it didn't have enough shimmer still, so I'm actually going in with a silver Jelly Roll pen. and doing a drop shadow with a little bit of silver. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but in real life, when you tilt it, to the left or the right, the light really does catch that and adds a lot of shimmer. So super simple card today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys will give this a try, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.